96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The Revolution with Juan McCartney is sponsored by Commonwealth Bank, Burger King, Seafall, Ron's Electric Motors, Fidelity Bank Bahamas, Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, Wendy's, J.S. Johnson, and the Digital Transformation Unit.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Revolution here on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. My name is Juan McCartney. So good to have you with us. All right, we got a few things to talk about today. We are first going to be talking with my guest, who is Dr. Sparkman Ferguson. He's the registrar of the Bahamas Dental Council, and he's here to enlighten us about some issues that are going on out there in the community that affect dentistry, people's dental health, that normally you wouldn't even think would be an issue, but in having him explain it to me, I do see the need to talk to the public about it, and he's here to answer any questions you may have about any of the issues that we're going to talk about. During the second hour, I've got a sponsored guest, and hopefully we will have some time to talk about some of the other things that are going on. There's a very serious climate change warning from the United Nations. However, they're not really telling us something we didn't know, as having survived so many bad hurricanes and having to deal with climate change. But they're talking about the need to develop resiliency, which we want to talk about. Also, and I probably will deal with this in its fullness tomorrow, but I sense a disturbance in the force in terms of, I see that Bahamas Power and Light sent out a statement yesterday saying that the fuel charge at BPL was going to go up next month, and then it was retracted or recalled by the CEO of BPL, Whitney Hasty, and then we spoke to Minister of Public Works Alfred Sayers this morning about that, and he claims that Cabinet has not yet approved the fuel charge to go up. That's not quite how that works, and Mr. Sayers is a very smart guy, and he knows that. There are different components to it, and like I said, when we have more time, I'll try to explain it to the best of my knowledge. But it's not a direct line from a cabinet approval to the fuel charge going up. That's not at all how that works. It's much more nuanced than that. And the fact the cabinet is now saying it has to consider it based on what Hasty sent out indicates to me that a very large ball has been dropped, and it appears to have been dropped by this administration with regard to the fuel charge. But never fear, the fuel charge will go up. Next month, no recalling of emails can control that, and the fuel charge will probably go up even higher over the summer as oil prices continue to go up, and we don't know how long the Ukraine-Russia conflict is going to last. That's going to drive global fuel prices up as well. All right, Dr. Ferguson, welcome to the Revolution. So good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. McCartney.
Excellent. All right, so we talked last week about some of these issues that are going on out here, and you brought some awareness to it for me. Now, I'll say that I didn't consider the areas you were talking about because I have insurance. Not only do I have insurance, but I know that, well, the pandemic affected this greatly, and I think that contributes to what you were talking about. But I know that there used to be government clinics on a regular basis dealing with dental work, and that all evaporated. But even with insurance, I found it exceedingly hard to get dentist appointments, right? And normally I wouldn't go to the dentist more than once a year because I don't want to get shamed to my face about not flossing on a regular basis. Because that's what I get. Are you flossing? No, I'm not flossing after every meal and before bed. But I took for granted that there are lots of people who don't have access to dental services. So explain for me what fills that void and what should people look out for when they're seeking to fill that void, where they don't have insurance, when they don't have access to regular dental services?
Well, that's a very hard question because we do have access, and our dental clinics in the country have not been shut down. In fact, dentistry has been one of the areas that we've been very, very good with during the pandemic. Because, for instance, my office, we were only closed for 5 weeks of the entire pandemic.
Really?
The first 5 weeks.
Wow.
So access is not an issue. Public health dentistry is not an issue. And private services are not an issue. But when we were talking about what we were talking about last week, our concern and what we really, the brunt of what we're talking about is the fact that we have ordinary citizens who have crossed the line and now starting to practice dentistry. That's what the problem is.
Just for fun.
This has not happened in the last 2 years. This has been happening now for the last easily 7 to 10 years.
Wow.
And each year we've been pecking at it and trying to deal with the issue, but we're finding more and more individuals without any training, without any qualifications, and most importantly, without a dental license, who just set themselves up on WhatsApp, say I'm offering this, that, and the other, and they put that out to the public and say, come to me and have this done. The area that they're mostly interested in seems to be, it's very interesting. The fact is that why would they choose a specialty service like orthodontics braces? That is one of the big problems that we're having. And it's not a simple area to work in. Dental professionals like myself don't do orthodontics. So you could imagine if somebody who's had no training at all trying to do orthodontics, what that must be like. But what's happening with that is that individuals are placing the brackets, the silver stuff on the teeth. And some people want that on for good looks or a look, make you look like you got money or whatever it is. And then some, so that those only want it on for pretty. Then some people, and this is where the problem has gotten huge and why we need to talk about the licensing problem. And that is, some people have it in and they actually have been duped because they've spent enormous sums of money to have it put on, and they are thinking that it's aligning and straightening their teeth, and that is not happening.
It's not going on.
It's not happening.
I'm so curious, how does someone get access to the material that it would take to put brackets on your teeth? That seems like a very specific thing.
Correct. So I want to address that. I'm going to drop all kind of little things in when you're asking these questions. First and foremost is this, and that is that it's a breach of the law for any person who is not a dentist to be in possession of dental materials.
Really?
That is law.
Wow.
And so, and it calls to the front how people can order something on eBay and have them come to our customs and get through.
Right.
And so that's one of their first things they've got to do, get through customs with these brackets. And so, it happens. You should
really have a license to bring those in.
You need a license to bring those in. So if they get through customs with them, now half of it is done. They're in the country.
Right.
And you've got the supply, the stuff you need. Now it's just a matter of getting to the demand of the people who want it.
Right. I've known several people with braces, different types of braces, but particularly like the brackets that you talk about. And it's a very specific, detailed process, sometimes a painful process that could take a couple of years to go through from the people I've known.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, why would someone who... If you want braces, you understand it's a complicated process. Or at least a meticulous process, right?
Yeah.
Why would you just go to somebody who's advertising on WhatsApp? Like, there was a Jamaican guy who got locked up for it a couple of years ago, I think. Why would you just find somebody out there who would do it as opposed to actually inquire through a real professional service?
Right. Well, this has become the bigger question in our community. What is driving our people, whomever they may be, to decide to go to a quack for services?
Right.
That's a big, big, big issue. I think that part of the answer is when these things are advertised, they're advertised for little or nothing. Come in, I'll put some brackets on you for $100, and it's going to straighten your teeth.
Right.
I'll do the upper jaw and the lower jaw, and only be $200. But if you go to our orthodontic specialists, which there are only 3 in the country, and I want to name them so people know what we're talking about. They would be Dr. Barry Russell, I'm sorry. There would be Dr. Woodley Thompson, and there would be Dr. Andre Rollins, 3 specialists in orthodontic braces treatment. And what that means is that once they had attained their doctoral degree in dentistry, which is where we all are, now they did 2 to 3 years more training to actually be a specialist in that area.
Just in braces. So
Just in braces.
Specialist means like only you can do it, or can other people do it?
Now, no, specialist means that you do, that's all you do.
Right.
General dentists, within their realm of expertise, can do the lighter cases.
Okay.
Yeah, but once you get to a complicated case, now you need one of the specialists to actually come in and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're saying that there isn't a problem for access, but yet people are still flocking toward the people. You think it's because of cost?
I think one of the big reasons is cost, and this supply and demand that's out there in the so-called, should I call it the underground? Yeah, and that's not new in our country,
right.
But we're having this problem in our 2 major cities, Nassau and Freeport.
At Freeport, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when we talk about dentists, because my wife was pointing out to me, they have people advertising on Instagram doing like Invisalign. I don't really know what that is. I think it's like clear braces. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Should they be doing that? How does that work differently?
Online?
Well, I guess no one should be doing it online.
Yeah. Well,
but how does it work?
Well, how does what work?
Invisalign.
Invisalign. It's just one of the approaches to a case that needs a lining. It's for the most cases a removable type appliance that goes into the mouth. And the specialists and even the general dentists, they have that as an option to do. But in our country, one of the things you need to know is as soon as you see somebody advertising a dental service, now you know that something is wrong with that.
So like they're not like they're like doctors.
It's against the law.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a breach of the law to advertise dental services. And a lot of people don't even know that, but that's one of the things, that's one of the hallmarks of that situation.
I think Dwight's asking me if I floss. What do you... Oh, we need a break? Oh, my mic's hot. Oh, okay. Did you just say that? Did you say? All right. So someone's asking you, how do you get an Invisalign Services, by the way? Does that take a specialty, or do regular dentists do that?
Regular dentists who have been trained. Invisalign is a system. It's a system that started off in America, and you have to be Invisalign trained. Even if you are a general dentist or a specialist, you've got to be Invisalign trained by Invisalign, because they control all their products.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. So if you're going to see someone and you're going to use the Invisalign product, You have to go through their training, and then you work directly with them. You send the case to Invisalign. Invisalign send you the braces, and that's the relationship you have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, is Camacho an orthodontist? Dr. Camacho?
Dr. Camacho is a general dentist who has a very keen interest in orthodontics, and he does very good orthodontics.
Okay, excellent. This says, and you can call if you got a question for Dr. Ferguson, 323-6232, 325-4316, and 325-4259. It says, Juan, he should stop saying it's no problem accessing a dentist. It costs at least $350 to remove a wisdom tooth. In government clinics, take 6 months to get service. Is that, in your experience, is that right?
When we say there's no access, you notice the first thing this person talked about was the cost. So that could be costing them not to have access.
Right.
So we have to know how we're talking about access. If you're not going because it's too much for you to spend, that's a different problem than if they have an appointment available.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
this is what I'm hearing in that right away. But we happen to have in the country, if you get into wisdom areas, we happen to have 2 oral surgery specialists. So that's a very small number for the size of our population. Then we have general dentists that also do the service also. So we don't have a problem in access. We have, there's time, there's availability of services, there's place. So
Well, I didn't understand previously how complex getting dental services are in terms of the actual personnel it takes, the actual equipment it takes to get proper dental services, until I had to get like a cap put on my tooth, and I had to get like shots and all sort of stuff. And then they had to take a mold, and then they had to send the mold away to bring back the porcelain cap, and then you gotta take the temporary one off and take the other one off, and your mouth's full of blood, and your teeth look like nubs. But it's very complicated, and I didn't understand that, particularly being younger when my teeth weren't that much of a concern, but as you get older and you start having these dental issues, it does become a serious concern. Absolutely. And isn't there a health concern as well, like a general health concern with going to these guys who are advertising through WhatsApp, advertising through Instagram, because you want to be in a hygienic atmosphere, particularly when you're dealing with your mouth, very sensitive.
This is one of the biggest concerns and why we in the profession worry about individuals who seek these services. You go to somebody who set up, first of all, they set up in their kitchen at home.
That's a
or
problem.
they set up in their dining room at home. They don't have sterilization equipment. They don't have proper disinfecting equipment. And then so you have somebody working with you who don't even have a clue what these things are, and they put their hands in your mouth, and the worst scenario is that you could get some kind of infection while you're seeing such a person because they're not set up to do this sort of a thing.
Right, absolutely.
But worse than all of that, I wanted us to touch on the fact that you have to be licensed in order to see people. It's a breach of the law and a breach of dental law for persons who are not licensed to see patients. And this is what's happening. So by definition, anybody who's going to engage in putting their hands in somebody's mouth without a dental license has breached the law already.
Now, when I ask you the obvious, well, why aren't the police dealing with these cases? I'm guessing there's too much murder going on. This is like not high on the ladder of serious crime for them.
That is my guess. That they're thinking that, well, this is just not such a big deal. People are not dying from it, so on and so forth. But in another vein, when this issue actually started, when I first became a dentist, there were 2 people on this island that did that were not dentists, that were seeing people like that. Okay. And now we don't have any idea what the number is. We have no idea what the number is. So it is the police job to look at crime. because what we're talking about is a crime here. We talk about crimes,
Right?
And it's beyond me why people aren't held accountable.
Right.
If you did any of what we're talking about here in the state of Florida, the first thing will happen is that they will come and arrest you. The second thing that they will do will be put a health padlock on your doors, and then go inside and seize all the equipment, and they start building a case against you to go to court.
So are we hearing a lot of complaints about this? Because I know usually the police will operate on complaints. So are people coming and going, I got messed up, I didn't get proper services?
We have had people who have been hurt by these individuals. And what would you expect if you go into somebody who doesn't know what they're doing in your mouth? But we've had people who've been hurt, and what they have done, they would call the council's office, and we've had to say time and time again, we are sorry this has happened, but you or your spouse or whomever, you seek services from somebody that's not a trained dentist.
Right, and that's wild to me that someone would do that. Okay, let's go to, we got a phone call on the line. Put your headphones on right there. See if we can hear our caller.
They're connected.
It's not plugged in, no problem. Let's fix that right here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Juan and Dr. Perkins. Can you hear me?
Welcome to the revolution. Afternoon.
Yes, they're Latinos here. We just wanted to touch on from three quick things. One was the access item. I agree with that person who called in and said that access isn't there. If we don't have a visa or we don't have a boat to get to Paradise Island or United States, then we don't have access. But the other one was on terms of advertisement. Isn't it true that the dentists should also not be advertising their place with big signs and all of those things? It should just be little discreet things or the like. But more importantly, based on your question on the braces, is it that they want access to get their teeth straightened or what? Or is it some cosmetic thing that is driving why people are going this route and not going to the doctors, that they just want to have a better cosmetic scenario for whatever purpose it is, whether they want to look good on the camera, whether they need a job and they need their teeth to look a little different. So I'll listen.
Okay, thanks.
I'll take the last question first. The fact of the matter is that, sir, if you went to such a person thinking that they could actually align and straighten your teeth, that's not going to happen. You're going to spend the money, and your money is going to be gone. They will put they will glue the braces on your teeth, and that's going to be end of the service right there. Nothing else is going to happen for you. As to the question about access, and I think you mentioned having to get on a boat to go to Florida or something, we have 100 dentists in the country. So we have lots of choices to make, some of them in the public service and most of them, and the others of them in private practice.
Help me understand how it works. So do you go to like the public clinic and you can get a referral and then deal with a specialist, or do the specialists is it not like that? You got to get all your services through the clinic?
No, the government clinics are for persons who feel that they probably can't afford private services, so they would go into the government clinic, and they generally can get the services that the government service provide. Mm-hmm. Generally, though, the government services usually provide emergency treatment, toothaches, swellings, abscesses, extractions, and stuff like that. Now, if you start needing other services, and now you're looking to have to go into the private sector to get those.
Yeah, and I often look at this and we talk about prices and access and all that, and I could be wrong about this. I'm not sure where other governments, particularly dealing with our scope of budget, offer cosmetic surgical procedures free of charge or at a deeply discounted rate. Because at the end of the day, having your teeth aligned, is that a medical issue, or is that a cosmetic issue, or where does that fall on the spectrum?
That would be a personal and cosmetic issue, having their teeth aligned.
Right.
Generally speaking, if somebody could not afford to do that, then it's not going to be done.
Right.
Okay, and people just get to the end of their lives and never have it done. So that's where that falls. But in our country, Dentistry has never had the kind of image it should have in terms of services and treatment, even in our public service. Okay, I hate to say it, but our public service in dentistry is just seeking to take people out of pain. I mean, that's an old treatment remedy, and if that's all we're doing something.
Right.
But it's not a number one priority, and hasn't been the number one priority of any Ministry of Health in our country.
Right. Well, until you have a toothache, it doesn't seem like it's important. When you have one, it's the most important thing in the world. There's no pain like I haven't given birth or anything, but there's no pain that I've experienced like toothache pain.
That's true.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Revolution.
Good day, hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, good day. I have a question for the doctor.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to find out, I'm considering getting, not a bridge, what is it now? A partial, and I also get, also braces. I wanted to find out does it matter which one you get first?
Which one you should get first?
Yes.
Okay, so what you would do in a situation like that is you want to have the teeth straightened first, so that they will be in the position they will be permanently, and then have the partial lastly.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
welcome.
thanks. I have no idea what a partial is. What is that?
A partial is a removable denture replacing missing teeth in the mouth.
Right. Is that a big option, affordable option too? Because both my grandparents on my father's side had dentures.
Yeah, it's an affordable option for many. Yeah, and there are several types of them.
Right, if you've lost teeth or, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Okay. This says, good day, Juan. I have a Tory growing. Can you ask the gentleman how much for the removal? And also, I need a gold filling. Does dentists still do gold teeth?
No.
I haven't seen that in years.
No.
I still see people with gold, but I've never walked into a dentist's office in my adult life and seen them saying, "Let's hook you up with some gold."
We've moved from that a long time ago.
Okay.
I must say though, gold crowns. Like if you have a back tooth and you wanted a crown, the gold crown has been one of the best restorations you can ever do. You wouldn't have it in the front, obviously,
right.
But because it's solid, it will last a whole lifetime and won't tarnish. Okay. But back to the tori question.
Tori, okay.
Yeah, tori, torus singular. It would just be a jutting out of bone in the jaw.
Yikes.
And people have those different places, and this person is asking what it would cost to remove it, and I can't answer that. That is a question for the oral surgeon who would likely be removing that.
And that you need surgery for that. They got
That'll
to
be
put you under, or is it kind of like just local?
Just local.
Yeah.
Local in most cases. And if it becomes very, very involved, obviously the surgeon might decide that they would want you in the general for it.
Yeah, if I could do the cap again, I'd probably take go under.
You would?
Yeah, just 4 needles. You feel it up here, and you're poking through the top of your skull.
Oh, yeah.
And you gotta watch them stick the needle in your head. They're like, Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to the Revolution. Hello, good afternoon.
I have a question for Dr. Stockman.
Sure, absolutely. He's listening to you. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Stockman. I'd like to know if the dental implant procedure is available in Bahamas and what's the approximate cost.
Okay. You have a lot of cost questions today.
Right.
The dental implants are available. We have several general dentists and several specialists that provide the service. I believe the average implant service costs between $2,000 and $3,000.
What's a dental
per implant? A dental implant is an artificial a replacement that goes into the mouth, but surgically placed in the actual jaw, in the jaw bone.
Yikes!
Yeah. So and it's to replace missing teeth. Where teeth are missing, the person decides that they didn't want to have a bridge, they didn't want to have a denture, they didn't want to have a partial like we talked about a minute ago. They decided that they wanted to go that route, which is actually the most expensive route of all. But the services are available here in Nassau and in Freeport.
Is there anything that people need that they can't get here? Are we good enough in terms of the number of dentists, number of specialists, orthodontists that we have?
Right.
Are there special dental needs that we don't address here?
We don't have any needs in the Bahamas that we can't meet here. We have several specialists. We have them in oral surgery, orthodontics, which is braces, and we have it in root canal therapy. We have specialists also in that area. And then apart from that, we have public health, which is a specialist also. We have public health specialists here also. And so we pretty much provide or can provide all the clinical services a person may need. Of course, there's always the one case or something, and something that's really far out that may require some other kind of a treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
What, if any, buffer is given through national health insurance for dentistry, or are they not set up yet for that?
They are not set up for it. The dentists in this country petitioned for it when NHI was first being set up. At the time, the Ministry of Health decided to go with medical only, and to get that going off the ground. So we wanted dentistry on the ground floor, so that we could start to get people to understand that dentistry is a part of general health, and to get people thinking that kind of a way. But it didn't happen then, and we're still seeking to have it happen now.
Absolutely. This one says, it's a long one. Does one need to be a specialist to perform Invisalign? I'm thinking this is the loophole that persons are using to perform orthodontic work. Whenever a product is price prohibitive, persons will take the chance to get the work done at a cheaper cost, notwithstanding the dangers associated with the underground market. It says, I don't like the council's response, scolding me or saying that the council can't do anything because I sought the service of someone not approved to do dental work is not an appropriate response, in my opinion. If the dentist can provide the service they should and report the person illegally acting as a dentist. I don't know if I understand that last part. If I sought the services of someone not approved to do dental work, scolding me because I sought the services of someone not approved to do dental work is not an appropriate response. If the dentist can provide the service they should and report the person illegally acting as a dentist. I guess they're saying that dentists themselves should report people they see acting
we do.
Contrary to law?
We do report them, but there's something that everybody has to understand. You can't have people read the internet overnight and decide they're a dentist tomorrow and start providing services to the public. This is one of the things I'm hearing in this thing here. No, we're not scolding anybody. We're saying outright that these people are in breach of the law. And I keep on coming back to the law because we are a country of laws. Right. And being a country of laws, we're not too concerned about what somebody's opinion is of somebody who's doing something that's illegal.
Right, it's just illegal.
Yeah, that's our first problem. And so therefore, and as far as the Invisalign part goes, such a person would not even be able to provide Invisalign because Invisalign itself, the company, will not do business with somebody unless they were a qualified, trained, and licensed dentist.
Right, so they have to train you.
That's correct.
Right.
So someone who's a quack in dentistry won't even get nowhere near Invisalign.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. This says, Juan, are dentists authorized by law to advertise with big signs? And by cosmetic, I mean people who are just seeking to hide, not fix what eyesore it is that they have. Okay. Dentists aren't allowed to advertise in traditional journals, right? Through traditional means of advertising?
No.
Television, radio, newspaper, magazine?
No. And that law is changing.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of young dentists either. The older dentists grew up in a world where we understood why you couldn't have somebody advertise. Mm-hmm. And the reason has always been for that the person who is the most non-scrupulous of all will get all the business.
Right.
If you allow someone who to do that. So that's been the position of dentistry. Fast forward to 2022, we are writing a new law, and it's going to be finished this year and to go into Parliament, where we're relaxing ourselves in advertising because we want people, we want the public to ask questions and be more informed about what it is we do, what are the services we do. You won't get to know what it costs in advertising, but you'll get to know what's available, and that's going to come in advertising in the future.
Yeah, until I had tooth issues, I really didn't have a clue how to really get to a good dentist who could deal with what I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I would just go in for the cleaning, let them shame me about the flossing, and it was fine, you know?
Yeah.
But one time I went in for a cleaning, and she was like, you got some stuff going on here, you need to go see the doctor.
Yeah.
And it was just a dental hygienist, and so that was great. And so I found a good doctor. Shout out to my cousin, Dr. Simone Sawyer out there. She's a dentist as well.
Beautiful.
All right. It says the doctor said there's no advertising, but what about dentists that have a presence on social media? Now, this is what you're warning about, right? The WhatsApp, the Instagram, or are you just talking about people who do regular dental services?
Right. Well, this is part of where we're moving to for education purposes, okay? And so therefore, when we say there's no advertising, according to the law,
Right.
there should not be. Or we find that we've moved into more modern times with the information.
Yes.
And persons taking a broader step on their own, and they're deciding, listen, okay, my patients need to know this. I'm giving them more and more information. And basically that's what it is. But you'll never find a dentist or a bona fide trained and registered dentist with our council who will write down and tell you, here's the price list.
Right.
We won't allow you to go that far.
All right, so they're telling me my 1:15 isn't today after all, so you can stay, hang out with us if you want, unless you're busy. If not, no problem.
I'm good.
All right, because we got more questions going on. I want to ask you about this, and I guess you can answer more fully on the other side of the break. I know we got to go to break. Is this more of a American, Western ideal that we should all have shiny, straight teeth? Like it's more of a vanity thing, or because this has been going on for a while. Because I remember from as far back as I was a kid, braces were pretty common among kids, who had bad teeth. But I want to kind of figure out what underpins it. So we'll take the break and we'll be back. We're talking with Dr. Sparkman Ferguson, who I'm told is a fantastic organist by one of the text writers, who is also the registrar of the Bahamas Dentistry Council. We'll be right back.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Burger King Nassau is taking spice to new heights with the new Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy your choice of a flame-grilled Whopper or a crispy chicken filet topped with chipotle sauce, guacamole, jalapenos, cheese, lettuce, and tomato, all on a fresh potato bun. The new Baja sandwiches at Burger King Nassau pack plenty of flavor, and with an ice-cold Pepsi and fries or onion rings, it's the perfect way to fill your day. The Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken Sandwich are only available at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Hey, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody what happening?
Joe bringing the knife to school? He could do Junior in.
For what?
But he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother's sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and he boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I avoid?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. Welcome back to the Revolution here on Guardian Radio. 96.9 FM. My name's Juan McCartney. So good to have you with us. We're sitting there talking with Dr. Sparkman Ferguson, who is the Registrar of the Bahamas Dentistry Council. We're talking about shady dentistry practices, indeed illegal dentistry practices. We're also talking about access and affordability to dental services, and there's a lot more to get to. I see someone's messaging me about BPL. We'll deal with that tomorrow because we're trying to get all the information out that we can with Dr. Ferguson here. And you can also call us if you got questions, comments, anything like that. 323-6232, 325-4316, and 325-4259. The text line is 422-4796, 422-4796. Welcome to the Revolution. Hello, good afternoon. Are you there? Is that caller not there? Okay, no problem. Give us a call back if you'd like. Okay, so we were talking about people performing dentistry services that are not legal, that should strictly be done by dental professionals, right?
Yes.
So sometimes I see people, particularly some like spas and hairdresser, nail tech type places that offer teeth whitening services. Now, I don't know what that entails, if it's like a gel thing. I've seen they have the gun thing. But they should not be doing that, or is that something that's okay?
They should not be doing it. Remember our original definition of what what constitutes breach in the practice of dentistry. Any citizen, any ordinary citizen who decides that they are gonna put their hands in somebody's mouth to do a dental service for fees, you are practicing dental. You believe that or not? That's how the law reads it.
Okay.
And so, what happens in these situations? We find that somebody would own a little spa here or own a hairdresser shop there, and they would get a bright idea one day that I can offer some more services, and unknown to anybody else. It probably can be a little thing that's going on right in there that nobody else knows about. They can offer whitening services right in there if they can find someone who wants to do it and earn extra money. It is an illegal practice, but it's what's happening.
Right. So, again, who's monitoring this? Besides the police, even though it's a legal thing, there's got to be agencies monitoring this. So there's got to be the Dentistry Council, right? Should be looking out for it. Or is that not their purview? Also, the Department of Inland Revenue should be making sure that people are operating according to their business licenses. If you're performing a business service and you're advertising and you don't have a license, that's also an Inland Revenue problem. You talked about customs allowing equipment through that they shouldn't be allowing without a license. Yeah. So it seems like an open, everyone's operating openly.
Correct.
And it's not being properly caught. Like you're doing your part, you're talking about today, but still.
In our country, as you know, monitoring is an issue. Okay, the police is to be monitoring crime. That's their job. The Department of Internal Revenue, we've spoken to them several times, and they've always been cooperative with the Dental Council. Because what happens is that somebody goes in there and they apply for a license to do a particular service. And when they get to their place of operating, they add services. So the Department of Internal Revenue is, as far as I'm aware, not monitoring that. Person comes back for renewal next year, they just renew the license, grab the fee, do the renewal, and go on from there. So that means that business continues to go on, and nobody knows really what's happening there.
Okay. This is asking, can a hygienist perform whitening? What if the hygienist works at a spa? Can they still perform these services?
No. A hygienist can perform whitening in a dental office.
Okay.
You see, because the hygienist by law works under the supervision of a dentist, and so you have to be where the dentist is to do that. So it's quite a thing. The dental office itself is also governed by the Hospital and Healthcare Facilities Board, which have looked at your place of operating and have said, yes, this is a place that can operate. It has all the things in place, etc. So you've got to pass that board also and have a license for that. So when we start talking about all this stuff, when a person branches out on their own, they don't have a license for their kitchen or their dining room. They don't have a business license for the business. They don't have a dental license. They don't have a hospital and healthcare facilities license to even be there.
Right.
So you have a breach. When I've spoken to a few people who've been available to talk, who have been doing these services. And every time I talk to one of these young people, they haven't a clue that they require 4 licenses to open a business like this.
Really?
Not a clue.
They're just doing it.
They have no license at all, number one. And number 2, they don't have a clue that they need a dental license.
Wow.
No clue.
Right. They think it's okay to just be doing it out their kitchen.
No,
their dining room.
They have no clue about it. And the thing about it is that I would not like to see our young 20, 25-year-old persons being arrested and dragged before the court and incarcerated. I wouldn't like to see that.
Right.
But we need to get wise enough to know that, listen, I need to find out about this before I branch into this. I need to find out the facts about this before I decide I'm going to invest in this.
Right.
And this is what's not happening.
So my question to you, is there training available here for those basic services that, say, a dental hygienist would do, or is that something where they got to go off to school? Like I know BTVI, you can do hairdressing, you could do basic electrical stuff.
We did have one program here before, and that was dental assistant. Yeah, that's to train a dental assistant.
Okay.
But all of the other professional services require you to go be university trained.
Okay, dental assistants where they like got the suction thing.
Right. Well, that's one of the minor things that they do.
Right.
They got plenty other things.
I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just trying to make sure
yeah.
I'm clear on what it is. All
Correct.
right.
They assist the dentist or assist the dental hygienist at the chair.
No problem. This says, hi, can you ask Dr. Ferguson about what contributes to increases in his field? I noticed an increase in services recently. I wanted to know what specifically would have caused this and how exactly the increases are calculated.
Well, that's a good question. First of all, globally, everything is increasing.
Really?
I mean, even talking about the food store going up for the last several weeks here in Nassau. It affects dentists from the standpoint of purchasing of materials, bringing those materials onto the island, the cost of living, just the cost of doing business, everything.
Yeah.
Your rent's gone up, your cleaning costs have gone up, everything has gone up exponentially, and most offices, if they're going to have an increase in fee, decide what it's going to be. Is it going to be 5%? Is it going to be $2? Whatever it's going to be. And the service is bumped up to cover costs. And that's about all there is to it. Now, is there a defined way of doing that? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's a market way of doing it. What would the market bear?
Right.
If your cost is going to be what a market cannot bear, then you'll find that people will not be getting that service.
Right. Well, I use Island Dental, right? And so I went before COVID, and like I said, I was supposed to get my cap, and then like COVID hit, and so I had to wait a few months there. There was just like all this new equipment that they were required to have, and they had to get permission from the Ministry of Health to open, and they had to have these certain things. And so I could see like buying all that equipment that they say is needed to mitigate the spread of COVID. That could drive your costs up too.
Correct. We've had to change some things we did. Not many actually, because dental offices have been sterilized units for a very, very long time.
Right.
So gloves and masks and things are not new for us.
Right.
We've been using those. We've just been more careful of the choice of masks in recent times, the type that doesn't allow liquids to come in under the mask. But so we've had those kinds of things going for a long time.
Right. So I wanted to ask you about child dentistry too, and so that's a big one for a lot of people, and sometimes a cost prohibitive one. So, and you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong on this. My understanding is that a lot of young children who are off of breast milk or perhaps never were on baby formula, when they start to develop teeth, the formula is detrimental to the development of their teeth. I've been told that by some pediatric dentists. Is that something that you understand to be the case, or is that just a rare occurrence?
This can happen, but there's a big word in dentistry, and if everybody got a hold of that word, we wouldn't be talking about cost prohibitive. We wouldn't be talking about baby caries, which we would be talking about baby cavities. The word is cleansing. This is the biggest problem with people and their mouths. Cleansing is not done well enough. Cleansing is not done regularly enough. Home cleansing is not good. So you need professional cleansing and home cleansing to go together and you get away from this thing called prohibitive cost. Because when you don't have issues in that area, it diminishes issues in other areas in your mouth. To the child and the formula, it's still cleansing. If parents are able to clean a child's mouth well at home, and then have some professional cleaning when they get to be the age, maybe 4 years or so, then these things don't happen. These things are just conversation.
Right.
They don't happen.
Right. Yeah, but I do find that, well, I'll just speak for my daughter. She had to have some dental work done, and it was, she had to actually have surgery, and it was quite costly. But shout out to Dr. Darville out there at my first dentist. She's great.
Yeah.
So and she helped us through it, but it was like, I didn't understand that children had these complex surgical procedures that are sometimes done. And I also didn't understand that we could do it over here.
Yeah. Children are a special group, okay? And I'll just put in this plug right now. Parents need to take care of their children, okay? People have children, and their children are like an extension of themselves, so to speak. But we've got to remember these are single individuals, the same care as you do. So just like an adult requires a visit to a professional dentist every 6 months, so does a child, okay? And if this thing doesn't happen, and then you have a child whose diet is filled with sugar, what is going to happen? They start getting cavities at a very early age, and the next thing you know, the whole mouth is rotten from sugar. And this is what happens. So we try to head these things off, but we're still in the dark ages in dentistry in the Bahamas, believe it or not. I've been a dentist for 43 years, but we're in the dark ages. It's just like the first day I came here. We can't get people to understand that you've got a responsibility. Now, over time, more and more people have gotten better, okay? But we still find lots of people who are not motivated at all unless they get a bad toothache last night.
Wow. Yeah, that's what usually drives them to go to that. Till they're in excruciating
And that
pain.
still happens.
Right. And they're not checking. You get a phone call. You can give us a holler at 325-4316, 325-4259. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Revolution.
Good afternoon, Juan McCartney.
Hey, how's it going, man?
And Dr. Ferguson.
Hello.
Hey, Juan, we talking about a lot of parents let the baby sleep with a bottle in their mouth.
Yeah.
And the sugar in the milk would damage their teeth.
Right.
So it's best to wash it out. If you want to sleep with bottle, put water in it. So the sugar in the milk. Dr. Sparkman, what about people who's putting in grills? And if you gold grills.
Yes.
Is that against the law?
That is against the law.
Is it?
It is against the law.
Hip hop grill thing?
Because there is no bona fide licensed dentist who puts in grills.
Okay, now it's all right. In '97, right, my mother had some implants done in the States because they're doing it here. It's very painful, but her implants could clip out. Every 4 months, she went back to get it clean. Is they doing that here, or they're putting it in for good? Have you seen implants that could clip out?
So hers are removed, you said?
Hers could clip out.
Yeah,
She went to Miami every 4 months.
Yeah,
and they would clean it.
That is just one of the ways of restoring implants, yes. So that's done here too. Did I answer your question?
He's gone.
Okay.
All right. It says, what's the price of a root canal? I don't know. It depends.
So, we talk about money a lot. Root canal therapy is a procedure that can cost, and I'm just going because I have a specialist in my office. I don't want to give specialist fees, but I would say easily between $800 and $1,500 per root canal.
Wow.
And the reason for the difference in costs is because some teeth have one canal, some have two canals, some have 4 or 5 canals.
Wow.
So the more complex the procedure, which is likely on a molar tooth, one of the back teeth, likely to be the more expensive ones. If you're going to have one of the front teeth done, one of the very front teeth, that'll be likely in the less expensive category.
Okay, so root canals are no joke.
Root canals are no joke.
Yeah, and that's like, you have serious issues when you need a root canal.
Yes, and it's not always the person's fault.
Right, sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens.
All right, this says, I'm now in my mid-30s, and Dr. Ferguson has been my good dentist since I was a child. He's always been the consummate professional and is very knowledgeable and has provided helpful advice along the way. He says, thank you for your service, sir. Well, there you go.
Thank you.
Endorsement. Juan, please ask Dr. Ferguson, how long should you have cleanings with your dental hygienist? Is twice a year enough?
Twice a year is the minimum. There is nobody that will tell you that you can't have it done 4 times a year if you wanted to. The more cleansing, I like the word cleansing more than cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
The more cleansing you do, the better off will be the health of your gums.
Mm-hmm.
If 2 times a year is a minimum, we have persons, believe it or not, who are in their 30s who've never had their teeth professionally cleaned.
Wow.
We have people who 40, 50 have never had it done, and so on and so forth. But twice a year is the industry standard, what we call best practices, and some persons require more than twice a year.
All right, this says, I go to Dr. Ken Newbold, and he does excellent work with Invisalign and other services. We have the talent right here. Okay.
That is true.
This says it's $5,000 to $8,000 for braces out here with these sharks.
Which sharks?
I don't know.
Out there?
Out there, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
5 to 8 grand. All right. Yeah, I mean, look, braces cost money, right? So maybe you could enlighten me as to when there's a serious medical issue where braces are necessary, but...
That was the question before the break you asked.
Right, yeah. So every time I've thought about it,
Yeah.
it's true.
Right.
And did we get this cosmetic ideal from, like, Western... Like, I've been to... You've been to Britain, right?
Yeah.
You see what's going on there.
Yeah.
In Europe, right? Yeah, that's not a priority.
Right. So, my way of looking at orthodontic treatment is this. Actually, it boils down to who can afford it.
Right.
It really does,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If you don't have $3,000 to spend on orthodontic treatment, it's not going to be done, all right? Or more. So I see it as a cosmetic concern. I see it persons benefiting from it if they can afford to have it done.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's something that's more important than all of that, and that's cleansing.
Mm.
So if you have a bunch of teeth that are not well aligned, but they are wonderfully cleaned, that is a very good place to be.
Right.
So that would be the greatest priority in my mind for a person's teeth and health.
Would just be to make sure that your mouth is clean.
To make sure it's wonderfully cleaned, and if you can afford to have them neatly aligned at the same time, that's even better.
And this person's asking about cleaning for plaque. How often is that necessary? Or is that one of the hygienist does it as routine?
That's routine.
All right, yeah. So if you, I don't know if you guys are familiar with plaque. When you see people and they have like the white stuff built up between their teeth, and it's real hardcore. Like, is that plaque?
That's not plaque.
What's that?
Okay, so plaque is a substance that's about as thin as your saliva. That's what plaque is.
Okay.
The stuff you see
That's
that
the
you're
hardcore white
talking about
stuff, yeah.
is when plaque starts to get solidified. So the progression is that it goes from plaque, which is like your saliva. It gets a little harder, and the name changes to tartar. And it gets very hard, and the name changes to dental calculus.
Oh, okay.
Just like calculus in math.
Dental calculus.
Dental calculus, yeah. And that's when you start getting to tartar and dental calculus, you start now getting into gum diseases taking over your gums. And that's why we never want dental calculus and dental.
And gum disease can kill you, right?
You mean literally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, not really.
You don't think so?
Gum disease?
Tell me.
No, well, you wouldn't die of gum disease, but gum disease is a serious concern from the standpoint that when we look at the general health of a person, we find that gum disease is just connected to many other concerns. For example, the average diabetic has gum concerns to worry about it more than the average person.
Really? Wow. All right. This says, I'm in my early 50s. I've never had my teeth cleaned. Can I start now?
Absolutely.
Please. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It says, Juan, please ask the doctor his stance on fluoride. As a kid, I was told this was just to strengthen enamel and would be done at 16. Now I'm almost 40. Fluoride, LOL. I was duped.
Okay, so fluoride is because when I was a student, it had to be done for every child. And every adult can have it too if you want to. And the truth about it is that fluoride actually hardens the enamel. So you would see it be more beneficial for a child with their new teeth coming on, their new adult teeth coming on, and actually than actually an adult who already have their teeth. Just like milk. And people drink milk. I mean, only children need milk, really, when you really think about it, because they're the ones who are developing their teeth, right? The thing about it is that the jury is out on fluoride treatments, because fluoride is poison, you know? And
Right, we're always told about fluoride in the water.
What we use is not poisonous.
Right.
In how we use it in dentistry, on how when we put it in water. But the jury is out with a lot of people these days, whether it's actually a need. But the fact of the matter is that because of how people care for their teeth, fluoride would be beneficial, because if you didn't care much, now you need all the hardening you can get.
Right.
So it's like that.
Okay. Yeah. So this says, this is a good question, actually. I use baking soda. Is baking soda good to use with toothpaste while brushing?
Is it good?
Yeah.
It can't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You got some, Arm & Hammer has baking soda in its toothpaste. So baking soda is always being known as a base substance, and what it actually does is actually good for the gum tissues. And that's what makes it a good thing to have, to use. Mm-hmm.
You know what I didn't learn until I was like in my teen years, and like your breath really started to matter?
Mm-hmm.
Like brushing your tongue.
Yes.
Is one of the most important things you could do to not have bad breath.
Absolutely.
Because we got a lot of people the masks have helped, I won't lie. It's been about 2 years and the masks have helped, and you don't usually have to absorb people's terrible breath. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't brush their whole mouth out properly.
That is true. One of the I'm going to come to that. One of the things I've learned even after all these years of practicing, and I was startled in recent times when people say to me, I don't brush adults. I don't brush every day. Yeah, I'm talking about well-meaning adults.
Right, that's a problem.
Seriously.
Really?
And they would say, well, doctor, I don't brush every day. I said, well, you don't? It's quite a thing. Okay.
I don't know if I could say that to my dentist.
Just
not flossing, I feel guilty. Like
push you out the door. But the fact of the matter is, though, that the tongue, as you mentioned, carries, I would say, easily 90% of the bad breath. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of the things that every person should be engaged in every time they brush the mouth, that the tongue should be cleaned. And that's why every person should use only a soft toothbrush.
Really?
Yeah, only.
Okay. Yeah.
Only a soft toothbrush. People say, what about medium? What about how? I get in this argument every day with patients. Brush with the one I tell you to brush with. Okay?
Really?
Only a soft toothbrush should be used in the mouth. And there's a reason for it. The reason is that it can brush your gums, it can brush your teeth, and it can brush your tongue. When you get to those mediums and hards, they ain't comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
And therefore, you cut down on brushing your tongue and you cut down on brushing your gums.
Right. I like a nice medium.
And that's the reason.
Yeah. I got the toothbrush with like the rubber on the other side
On
of
the
it
other thing? Mm-hmm.
to do. Are they selling me dreams, or is that not necessary?
No. That's a toughening kind of device, that you can use on your gums. It won't hurt it.
All right. This says, hey, Juan, is rinsing with hydrogen peroxide and water healthy? I don't know if I've ever heard that one. Hydrogen peroxide and water.
Some people use it with water. Some people use it full strength. But it's a good antiseptic to wash out the mouth, flush out the gums. And particularly people with gum diseases who are in treatment should use it. And sometimes, and then at the same time, it can't hurt somebody who didn't have gum disease.
Right.
It'd just be something else to do, but it can't hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Right. This says, good afternoon. Please ask the doctor if due to this virus, COVID has something to do with cleaning the breath. Because from the COVID start, I haven't smelled any bad breath. Trust me, this is real talk.
Yeah, well, you talked about the mask.
I think it's the mask. Yeah, I think the mask is helping you. Like, I could, you know. All right, this says 3 years ago, I paid $1,500 for a root canal. A few months ago, I developed an infection in the same area. Went to the same dentist who said the infection is connected to the same tooth, and the same tooth now needs to be removed. Is this normal?
It is not normal, but it can happen.
For an infection to reoccur?
It can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen, and lots of times the root canal requires retreatment.
Right.
It means you have to go ahead and pull it all back down again.
So
and fix it back again.
Am I understanding a root canal where they drill into the tooth and under the tooth, and then what is that?
Just into the tooth to remove the nerve tissues in the tooth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the nature of the treatment because the nerves are what's causing pain.
Mm-hmm.
So once you remove the nerves from the tooth, then you've rendered the tooth painless.
Right.
Now, if the tooth develops an issue later on or never resolved its issue 15 years ago, or however long it was, its original issue, then you can find that years later it can still be a kind of an issue.
And the mouth is, as I understand it, you're the professional, the mouth is one of the most concentrated nerve centers in the body.
Quite so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Good day, Juan. Ask the doctor, how come when you get your teeth cleaned, the dentist doesn't clean your tongue when they clean your teeth if it's so important?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe some hygienists do that, but it's not something that we practice doing in the prophylaxis because by definition, the prophylaxis, which is the cleaning, has nothing to do with your tongue. The prophylaxis is just getting at your teeth and your gums area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they give you that good mouthwash at the end.
Yeah.
This is big in Miami. Cubans who practice dentistry in Cuba but cannot qualify to practice dentistry in the U.S. will have a big dental office in their garage until the police raise the place and charges them with practicing dentistry without a license, which is a felony. Okay? I got to ask you this, right? And so I don't know if you could help me understand the psychology behind this. So, and I'm just talking about, let's say women would do this, right? If you were trying to get like breast implants or breast reduction surgery, and that's normally a costly procedure that insurance may or may not cover depending on the circumstance, aren't you going to go find the best person you could possibly find? Like, or will you go to somebody who says they can kind of do it on the cheap? Something that's incredibly sensitive and could become incredibly dangerous if it's done incorrectly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the psychology of why you would say, oh, I want braces, or I want a root canal, or I want, wisdom teeth removed, but I'm going to go find the cheapest alternative to go do it, knowing that it's a sensitive procedure.
We have to wonder, it makes me wonder what is happening on my island in our society when individuals are willing to take this risk. It makes me wonder what's happening. It makes me wonder about the value systems of people. Is it that saving $100 over here is more important? Do I need to just get the cheapest thing I can get? And when you start looking for prices, you don't always get the best work. Okay, and I'm not suggesting it's the best either, but I think that we need to understand that professional service are just that.
Right.
Okay, and you want the best that you can get when it has to do with your body.
Yeah, it comes at a professional cost. Yeah, and what I find, and this could be my experience, like a lot of offices will work with you on payments and et cetera. Like, not all of them are like, give me everything up front or no dice. Some of them work with you.
True.
So you can ask some.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there's some insurance plans you can buy that are
There's insurance too.
affordable. As you can. Good day, McCartney. Awesome show. Ask the doctor if oil pulling is great.
Oil pulling?
I don't know what that means.
Oil pulling.
Oil pulling? I don't know. You said oil pulling. Maybe you misspelled something. Let me ask you this. I don't know the extent of specializing, but when we're talking about children with toothaches, I was told when babies are teething that you rub like clove oil on their gums. I know we got to take a break. And then I was talking to a dentist about it, and they were telling me that that's detrimental to the baby's dental health, but a lot of people still do it. That's still like what a lot of people say. You take clove oil, you rub it on the baby's teeth when they're teething.
I haven't heard much like that. But the proper thing to do when the baby is teething, years ago there used to be something called teething powder. I don't know if you remember something like that.
No.
You're too young for that.
I just had children, yeah.
Then there was just a little powder in the drugstore that you put on the kids' cup.
Okay.
But it'll do just as well to have some crushed ice in the cup.
Okay.
And let's let the child swallow the crushed ice and chew on it, because what it does, it just comes on the gums, it reduces the inflammation on the gums, and the child starts to feel better.
Okay, excellent. All right, we got to take a break. We're talking with Dr. Sparkman Ferguson, the registrar of the Bahamas Dentistry Council, about dental health. And you're enlightening me to some things that I didn't understand what was going on out here. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Kraken Sack Muffin, Honey Buttermilk Chicken Biscuit, Double Sausage Muffin, or the Sausage Egg and Cheese Biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Children are a blessing and should be treated with love and care. They deserve safe, stable, and nurturing relationships, a supportive family environment, and positive social networks. Mothers, fathers, teachers, aunties, uncles, neighbors, Bahamas, let's do our part to stop the physical, sexual, and mental abuse of our children. Make the calls, file the reports, save precious lives. Let's join hands and hearts and say no more to child abuse. This message was brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Revolution here on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. My name is Juan McCartney. We're here talking with Dr. Sparkman Ferguson, who's the registrar of the Bahamas Dentistry Council. Somebody sent me an article on oil pulling. This article says it's an ancient oral health practice. It involves swishing oil around your mouth, spitting it out, then brushing your teeth. It says when you get up in the morning, get a tablespoon of any oil and swish it around your mouth for about 20 minutes, like when you use mouthwash, 20 minutes. However, don't do it vigorously, since you'll be doing it for far longer and your jaw will get tired. Gently swirl the oil around your mouth and suck it through the spaces between your teeth. Don't swallow it. Spit it out, but don't spit it in the sink. Then rinse your mouth out with warm water and brush and floss like normal. All right. Does that sound like something you're familiar with? Or
people need to keep it simple and stay away from 3,000 years ago.
That was the apex.
I know.
Dental care.
Yeah, but I mean, we've come a long way since then, and we know that it's a lot simpler than that. We've been blessed with good toothpastes that we now use, and they do an excellent job in keeping the mouth, first of all, healthy, good smelling, and we can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. Okay, this says that oil pulling is when you use a carrier oil such as coconut, twist around for 5-20 minutes. I heard mouth from harmful bacteria, keeps mouth clean, fresh, eliminates bad breath, etc. All right, well, I don't know. So,
Well, Juan, that's taught in no dental school.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
I got you. All right. Okay. This says that it says, tell the dentist, wonder no more. The reality in the Bahamas that cost factor and struggle is real. If we implement like Canada, Singapore, maybe even like Mia Motley and Barbados, care and love your people offer full dental and medical care in NHI. This is long overdue and very much needed. Now, I am not aware that they provide free blanket dental care in Barbados. I think some people get free dental care, and then I think you get free checkups up to the age of 18 or something like that in Barbados. Their model is like that. But this also speaks to, and you correct me if I'm wrong in my thinking, this also speaks to the priorities that you place as a nation. So if you're saying that dental care, medical care, they're priorities in the Bahamas, then to me you attack it from several angles. So the first thing, and if you're saying, well, let's not take Canada, let's take somewhere closer to home. Let's say Cuba, right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing they do in Cuba is education, right? Mm-hmm. And so the first thing they do is educate their citizens. Yeah. So they educate their citizens about what they should eat, what they should not eat, how they should take care of their bodies. They educate their citizens about their sexual health, all this other stuff like that. So that prevention, right? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Absolutely. And then they go ahead and further that into making sure that they're prioritizing medical, healthcare, dental care by making training available for all those who want to be in that profession, and also subsidizing those facilities. So, for instance, I'm not sure how you got educated, but most people would have gotten educated through through loans they would have to pay back, etc. And so the government can't properly compensate them for services that they would otherwise have no problem offering to the citizenry. So I think that you've got as a nation and be willing to, and priorities mean that certain things are going to get taken care of first and other things are going to come second. Absolutely. Right? So Cuba's got great medical care, great dental care. They don't really have much of a fiber optic network going on.
And after that, quickly, they also have their own schools.
And they have their own schools, exactly. So
which we don't have.
They don't have to travel for school, right, etc. And they encourage people to get into those professions. So you could probably count in the scores how many male nurses that we have. I've seen very few in all my years in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. And I noticed when Cuba sent nurses over, like there were numerous male nurses. Like there's no problem with them being male nurses.
Correct.
And in fact, back in the day, there were lots of male nurses, but somehow we started to telegraph to young men that that's not the profession they should go into, even though it makes a lot of money. So I think it's an issue of priorities. So I think when people say they want what they see in Barbados or what they see in Canada or what they see in Singapore, in addition, Barbados has income tax, and Singapore does, and Canada does as well, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think it's a good point you made there, and then people also have got to take some responsibilities for their own health. You know,
yeah.
This is one of the biggest things in our time. People have got to realize that you cannot look to the government for everything.
Right.
The things that everything you can do for yourself is something that the government does not have to do for you. And in the case of our profession, dentistry, like you mentioned when you're talking about the Cuban model. We've been continuing to educate all the time. I've been here. I've been here since 1979 as a dentist, and so we still continue to do that. But when things are just not a top priority, and we're doing a lot of other things, and we find that we're not the type that would go for regular checkups. It's not a priority for us.
Yeah.
It still isn't.
And I find that what happens with us is we don't consider things a priority, and this is just human nature, perhaps. We don't consider things a priority until we need them, right? Yeah. So I do 2.5 years ago, like new hospital, by all means prevention of nurses leaving and injecting all this capital into the healthcare system was not as much a priority for Bahamians as it is now.
But it is now.
Right, because they understand the need for it.
We saw what happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. This says, good day, McCartney. All medical care should be free. There's something going on in the Bahamas that's inhumane. Government being stifled from providing great medical care for its citizens, while the doctors, I would include lawyers, just milk funds that their clients cannot afford. It's unfair and should be addressed. Well, again, I'll say this. Dr. Ferguson goes to college, right? Goes to university, has specialized training for 8 years, and you continue your continuing education. That's not free. Every year you're traveling to do that. If you have your own building, you're taking out a mortgage on your building. The government's not helping you with that. You got to hire staff. The government's not helping you with that. The government's not paying your electricity bill. So what is it that you expect professional people to do when they're in terms of the cost for services? So if you wanted to pay for it, you can have whatever you want. You just got to be willing to pay for it. So you don't want the VAT to go up. You don't want income tax. Some things you're going to have to make a decision on what's really. All right, we got a call? No? Okay. And that's not me lecturing. That's just a dose of reality. Like, it's just you don't get to have all these nice things without paying for it. It just is what it is. All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the revolution.
Hey, Juan, quickly, I would ask the doctor.
Sure.
Is gum disease and bad teeth passed down to family or hereditary?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it hereditary to have gum disease or bad teeth? Like if your mother had problems, will you have it?
It is possible that there could be, although there hasn't been the greatest of studies about it, a genetic link for gum diseases. We have seen that happen. But most of what happens in individuals is a local thing.
Because
we'd like to point at our fathers and mothers, but generally speaking, it's just a lacking of care, personal care, that leaves any particular person in the situation they're in.
Because two of my parents had implants. I was wondering now, I might have come called periodontist.
Heavy what?
Periodontist. Some gum disease.
So because your parents have had implants doesn't mean that you're going to have it too.
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing was, like I said, it's a local concern. Each person. Go ahead, sir.
Them implants are no joke. My mother, when they put them screws in there, they had to set them. She's ordered pain pills to put them screws in a gum.
Yeah, we would like for no one to have implants. But the matter is that it takes extreme care from the time you become a young adult, so that you're not going to have that happen. And it is possible. Okay, staying in good health your entire life, it's possible. I'm 66 years old, and I've lost one permanent tooth in my entire life, and that happened when I was a boy of about 12 years old. So it is possible. And the other of my colleagues and just general people, regular people, who have all of their teeth. I know people who are 80 years old with all of their teeth. It all boils down to care. Personal care, professional care. And when you find that something is going wrong in a person's mouth, one or both of those things are missing.
Okay. Quickly, couple of messages here. Says Juan asked Dr. Ferguson if mercury is still used in fillings and why dentists allowed mercury to be used all these years, and what's his opinion on natural toothpaste that don't have fluoride or sodium lauryl sulfate in them. Are these good toothpaste?
Yeah. I have no problems with natural toothpaste. You can go ahead and use it. It's the cleansing. What you do with the toothpaste is going to be important. Mercury was and is still used in amalgam fillings. It is just what it is. It is used pull other metals together and make it a mush so that it'll be soft to be placed in a tooth and then get hard later. It's like when you do mortar. All right.
Gotcha.
So the fact is that that's what happened. But no matter what you've heard about mercury and amalgam fillings, the profession is going away from it. Most persons will still use it. I don't use it personally anymore. Most things you hear about mercury in a filling are anecdotal. No one has ever proven that this has ever hurt anybody before.
Okay. I have fillings that are like the clear stuff. I don't know what they put in it. Yeah,
the composites, we call them.
Yeah, there you go. Please ask the doctor how good is Listerine.
Listerine is very good. Sometimes it's too good. Actually, some people need to dilute it with water because it's too strong. So it is a good mouthwash, and I have no trouble with that.
We got a lot of questions. I won't be able to get them all. This says, can you ask the doctor his opinion on water flossing? I wanted to know about that too, because like I see they sell the water pick. Does that do anything?
Well, it's a good thing to have if you're too lazy to floss.
Okay, I am. Yeah.
It's a good thing because what it does, it flushes.
Definitely.
It flushes fast.
Okay, so yes. Ask the doctor about mouthwash causing diabetes. Is that a thing?
I've never heard anyone having diabetes because of a mouthwash.
This is someone who endorses oil pulling. Several people who endorse oil pulling. It says, please ask the doctor what is the difference between gingivitis and periodontitis. I don't know how to say this word.
Gingivitis.
Periodontitis.
Yeah.
Right.
Gingivitis will be a mild form of gum disease, and periodontitis will be periodontitis would be a more severe form of gum disease.
Oh, they're both gum disease. All right, we got time for one more call. Let's do it. Good afternoon. Welcome to the revolution. Hello. Good afternoon. No? Okay. Let's try this other call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the revolution. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Excellent show.
Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Ferguson.
Go ahead. He's listening.
What causes receding gums, and can they be repaired?
That's an interesting one. Gums recede for many reasons. One of the reasons we spoke about earlier, when you see that same dental calculus that we talked about, it sits on the gums for a long time,
right?
And it recedes for that reason. It doesn't recede by itself. That's the first thing we've got to understand about receding gums. It doesn't happen by itself. It's usually because of the dental tartar and the dental calculus that causes the pushing back of the gums.
Okay. All right. Great.
So what if you never had a buildup of calculus on it in that area?
What if you never had it?
Yeah.
And you still have recession? That is an interesting one, and that would require its own investigation.
I know you're not supposed to advertise, but a lot of people are asking for your number. You want to throw your number out there so people will be able to contact you if they need to.
I'm listed in the phone book.
All right, go find Doctor. He's a consummate professional. He's not gonna. I couldn't be no dentist or doctor or lawyer. I'm with the call me if you're in an accident. I'm into all that. All right, so we got to go. Thanks so much, Dr. Sparkman Ferguson. He's a registrar of the Bahamas Dentistry Council, for coming on and educating us. Again, the big takeaway, I would say, is avoid going to people who are unlicensed to get dental services. You're really risking your dental health. All right? You guys take care out there. Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, Bahamas.